If you have an old desktop, you may notice that there are two different colored of same kind of ports, one in green and another in purple in the back of the CPU cabinet. Chances are you have never used it. Have you ever tried to know for which devices these two ports are used? Why the motherboard manufacturers provide these two ports in our old desktops? Do you want to know? Let me tell you. It is called the PS2 port, which was introduced in the year 1986 for IBM's second generation personal computer. At that time, personal computers were called as personal system. Here, PS2 means Personal System Series 2. It is a mini DIN connector having 6 pins that is used to connect mouse and keyboard to the computer. Here, mouse can be connected to the green color port and the keyboard can be connected to the purple color port. Because USB was not invented at that time, hence before 2000, PS2 was the industry standard connector for the mouse and keyboard. Even though USB was invented in the year 1996 and many of its generations were also released, still the motherboard manufacturers did not stop providing the PS2 ports on the motherboard. The main reason for this was most of the computer users still had PS2 keyboard and mouse, as well as the demand of the hardcore gamers for PS2 mouse and keyboard was always high because of its low latency. Yes, its latency was very low as compared to the old versions of USB that attracted the competitive gamers to use PS2 keyboard and mouse instead of USB keyboard and mouse. Even its latency was less than USB 3.0. Hence, it provides a hardcore gaming experience to the users. Till now, we have seen that it was very fast in terms of speed. But it has some drawbacks or disadvantages due to which, apart from USB port, not a single PS2 port is seen in today's desktop. The first drawback is not supporting hot pluggable feature. We can connect and use USB keyboard or mouse in a running computer. For this, we need not to shut down the computer and restart again. This is the hot pluggable feature that the USB has. But PS2 doesn't support hot pluggable feature, for which whenever we want to use PS2 keyboard or mouse, we need to restart the PC after connecting them. The second drawback is PS2 is not flexible. USB ports and connectors are of rectangular shape. To use USB keyboard or mouse, we just need to connect it to any USB port. But PS2 has a rounded DIN connector that contains 6 pins, so the pins can be broken if we don't connect the PS2 connector to the PS2 port carefully. The third drawback is non-compatibility. USB is very common. Almost all the electronic devices support USB. But PS2 is designed only for connecting keyboard and mouse. The fourth drawback is PS2 can carry less power. The USB devices can draw power from the port to which they are connected. For this, they don't need an extra source of power. Yeah, it's not true with the printer, scanner, or other heavy machines. But most of the small electronic devices don't need an extra power source after connecting through USB. But unlike USB, PS2 cannot carry more power. The fifth and the last drawback is PS2 become slower. Although the latency of PS2 is less than the older versions of USB, but the latest versions of USB such as USB 3.2, USB 4 overtake the speed of PS2. These are the main drawbacks for which the popularity for PS2 gradually starts decreasing and stops to come with the new desktop computers. But one thing we have to accept that although PS2 is getting older and not used yet, but once upon a time it was the only connector to connect the mouse and keyboard to the computer. Although it was designed in the year 1986, almost 38 years before from now, still PS2 mouse and keyboard were the favorite mouse and keyboard for the gamers for many years. It was all about PS2. I hope the video was helpful for you. If you want to know more or if anything missed in the video, then let me know in comments and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Bye.